All right. So I'm thrilled to be here. This is our next installment of Small Business Sunday, and we are here with the wonderful Rico Coar-Fernandez, and we're going to hear all about Florida Boy Skincare. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on for this interview.
I am stoked. I got a lot of referrals after the last interview we did, and you were just top of the list. You had a lot to say, and I loved it. So the pleasure is mine. So, hearing just the name Florida Boy Skincare, that automatically makes me think it's good because Florida weather takes a toll on your skin. It is no joke out here.
That's fair.
So, let's start at the beginning. What is Florida Boy Skincare and why'd you start it?
Florida Boy Skincare is a skincare company that focuses on helping people address hyperpigmentation issues. I encourage people to learn more about active ingredients in their skincare products like the cleansers, washers, toners, vitamin C serums, and all kinds of other serums. I want people to be educated about what they're doing and why they're doing it, and I want them to have a lot of safety first whenever they're making decisions related to skincare. And then in addition to that, I started it because I love skincare. I've been doing my own skincare for my entire life. And even back when sunscreen wasn't popular, especially for Black people, back when I was wearing sunscreen, it literally made me look like a ghost. But I wore it anyway. And so it was because I know, hey, I need to protect my skin from the sun. It is what it is. I want to look good for a very long period of time. And the phrase is black doesn't crack. Well, if you want to make sure the black skin does not crack, you're going to need sunscreen, regardless of how dark you are or how light you are. You need sunscreen. So I take it serious. In addition to that, I'm a registered nurse. And so for me, safety is king. I am always going to do what is safe. And so that helps me propel my services to my community. For example, people that look like me, gay people, people that identify as queer or in the LGBTQ community, or transgenders, or just people that don't know that they can get the services to make their skin look incredible, and you can do it in a safe way. Those are the reasons why I started the company, and that is what the company is here for. And plus, we're going to make people feel comfortable. So don't feel afraid if you have issues in your butt area, your back area, your pubic area. I can help you. Okay, we got butt facials, back facials, and we
Wow.
manzillion stuff. So that means the pubic area. But anyway, I just want people to feel comfortable and know they can get safe skincare, and that's why I started it. And plus, I'm from Florida. It's my home.
Those are a really great array of skincare options, like some that I never considered, never heard of. Like you've got this stuff on lock.
Thank
I
you.
am so impressed. And this is clearly valuable because if I'm hearing about things that I never considered, there are surely tons of people that don't know about these services that you offer and products that you have to help with this. So tell me a little bit about how you got started. Like, what was the process of launching Florida Boy Skincare?
So again, I'm a registered nurse, and so I work full time as an RN. And I was working at the hospital during the height of the pandemic. Hi, you guys! I might have saved your life. Anyhow, with a team of other people, and I'm just saying that because I was working during the pandemic when it first started, and it was pretty much a scary time. I don't want to prolong this story. However, to try and make it a brief synopsis of what happened, I was working during the pandemic. At that time, we were without PPE. We were uncertain about how this virus is, being spread. Like, we just had no real information. We were just doing the best we can to take care of people. And during that time, I was actually quite afraid. I was afraid about my job. I was afraid about my health. I was afraid about my livelihood. I didn't know if I was going to get sick, what can I do next? Nursing is my first love. It's my only, at that time, it was the only skill I thought I had. So while working with the other nurses, just talking, I learned a lot of people were starting their own business. And then we have that cliche phrase that says, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your
Work a
life.
day in your life.
So I thought to myself, um, I actually love skincare. And during the pandemic, more and more people were suffering from maskne. You know, it just so happened that the mask was irritating their skin. And there would be many times where people actually would ask me, hey, what are you doing with your skin? Because they thought it looked good. So I started telling people this is what I do, this is why I do it, and some people actually had some improvements in their skin. I was telling them about using retinol and what percentage of the retinol to use, and where you can find quality retinol and what to do because breakouts do happen. You just need to learn how to manage them and using things to keep your skin hydrated because dry skin is what's gonna exacerbate a lot of problems and a lot of those things help people. So that first step was identifying something that I felt, hey, I could do this and I'm good at it already. So I had to analyze my skill set and realize, hey, I know the science behind product ingredients because I know the mechanism of actions of a lot of these active ingredients. Um, then moving forward, I had to decide what is the way I want to go about doing this. So I thought, maybe I could do like a mobile-based skincare service. So I had to think about, should I get a location or should I do, go into people's houses? And anyway, it came down to getting a location. Then I had to start thinking about the logistics, getting licenses and all of the business stuff behind it. But hopefully I didn't veer off from the question and I answered. I got started by figuring out, hey, what skills do I currently have? What can I offer to people that is going to be a benefit? And what would I actually enjoy doing for a very long time? And that's how I identified skincare.
I love that. And you're a registered nurse too, which totally makes sense now that I think about it. But you seem to have just such a great demeanor and just this attitude toward what you do. And that's what made this an interview that I had to talk to you.
I
And
appreciate it.
I love it. Now, do you have any skincare advice for anyone out there that you think they're making like common mistakes, or maybe there are common assumptions about skincare that you would want to debunk?
I want to do two, and it will be for people that's suffering from any type of hyperpigmentation. It happens to me all the time because I get ingrown hair. So I've tried the laser hair removal. That does work. But anyway, we're going to talk about the two tips. So when you're doing anything and you notice, hey, you have hyperpigmentation, especially if you're dealing with it on your face or any place that you are shaving, I have to just be honest that that razor, as it goes across your skin, it causes a lot of irritation. And then as you have your hair grow back, and the hair follicle may get clogged by debris, oil, just bacteria as well. That type of irritation to the skin is what's going to cause the um, hyperpigmentation to occur. So you're going to want to think very carefully about continuing to shave. You just may need to find an alternative. You may need to do the clippers, where it actually does not use a blade that, shaves the skin down and clips the hair. Cuts the hair. You want to use clippers that just stay on the top of the layer and just clip that hair off. But that will help you reduce the amount of blemishes you get from hyperpigmentation. So clipping is something that I encourage most people to try and do. Waxing is another alternative that could help reduce the risk of you getting hyperpigmentation, especially in your like private areas. If you wax your booty, if you wax your vagina, if you wax your pubic area, it may reduce the risk of you having the hyperpigmentation. But if you notice you are waxing and you still getting those dark marks, you need to use, in addition to clipping, you need to use things that's called tyrosinase inhibitors. And so those are things that will help settle down the melanocytes that help pretty much produce the pigment and help get the pigment to the surface of the skin. So if you can calm those cells down with the tyrosinase inhibitors, in addition to doing things that are less irritating to the skin, like just clipping, that can help reduce a lot of hyperpigmentation issues. And then everybody, if you're in your 30s or close to your 30s, I'm just going to tell you, you need to be using retinol if you really care about your appearance. And there are many different types of retinols out there. You should find a retinol that is about, I would say, 0.5%, or you can, yeah, 0.5% is good. And what you'll want to do is use a retinol and work your way up to daily use. So starting off with maybe one time every other day at night. And what that does is auto exfoliate the skin. Retinol is a gold standard. So what that means is dermatologists use retinol. They use a prescription grade retinol. They use regular retinol, but they use retinol, which is a vitamin A derivative. And that has been proven since many years ago, like past the 80s, maybe even in the 70s. They know that this vitamin A derivative helps auto exfoliate the skin. And what that means is we're going to bring new skin cells to the top of the face. So you're going to have a more clear, youthful type of look. And also, retinol is able to get down into the dermis. And by getting down into the dermis, we are able to stimulate fibroblast. Fibroblast are what produce our collagen and elastin. So those are
Oh,
the major keys. Use retinol. Oh, actually, I got to throw a third one in there.
okay.
None of this work if you don't use sunscreen. Okay, sunscreen is number one. Number one. Number one. Okay. Then, if you want the anti-aging and the youth benefits, go ahead and use that retinol. Start off low, one time every other day if you can tolerate it. Retinol does cause some dryness, and that's why you need to work your way up. And then again, if you're dealing with any hyperpigmentation issues, I really suggest you start clipping rather than shaving or even waxing. I don't really like to wax because I get the hyperpigmentation myself, but I know that it's a nice smooth feeling. So I get it if you really like waxing. But the key is if you're trying to fight hyperpigmentation, you just want to start clipping those areas.
So, what are some of the products you use, and what is like your skincare regimen on the daily?
On the daily, sunscreen. Okay, but first let's start from when I wake up in the morning. I wash my face. I do a double cleanse. I use two cleansers. One that is very hydrating. It has a lot of aloe, a lot of humectants. Humectants are what gonna they attract water. So that's why I use a cleanser that has a very hydrating base. Okay, and then the second cleanser I use it's a glycolic acid cleanser. So again, I get ingrown hairs. It just part of my, is what I deal with. So when I'm able to exfoliate my skin really well, when the ingrown hairs do come, they can be, if you will, plucked really easily because I don't have that buildup of keratinocytes that block it and make it to where, I'm getting all these bumps. It's
Right.
just easier to manage. So I use those two cleansers. Following my cleanser, I use a hydrating toner. If your skin is hydrated, you're going to alleviate a lot of problems. And I don't think people realize that um, you don't even really have to appear to be dry to have dry or dehydrated skin. So if you start hydrating your skin even more, you're going to see a positive change. So that's the key. Find a toner that has hydrating properties. Most toners have some type of alcohol in them, and so I typically don't use one that has alcohol because it's really no real good point to that. Toners should be used to help do something. They need to have a mechanism of action. So what are they doing? So my toner hydrates. So when you look at your toner, look for ingredients like aloe or small molecular weight hyaluronic acid or other plant-based humectants. Glycerin is another one. But anyway, so I put on my toner. And toner also has two ways to work. It helps remove any of the excess cleanser just in case you might have missed something. Um, and then also, again, it has that active mechanism of action and hydration. So after I do my toner, at night I use serums. I use vitamin C serum. That's another gold standard. Vitamin C, you need to be working with somebody that's very knowledgeable because there are a lot of intricacies to vitamin C. First of all, it can break down very easily, so you could easily pay for a quality vitamin C. And it's not going to do much for your skin because it's not formulated in a way that makes the vitamin C remain stable.
Okay.
So let me tell you, the vitamin C I use has ferulic acid and vitamin E. Those two antioxidants help stabilize the vitamin C, and then that also help reduce the melanocytes activity so that it can reduce discoloration. So that's my primary serum, and then I use a hyaluronic acid. And then hyaluronic acid, what it does is again attract a lot of water to the skin. Keeping the skin hydrated and moist is going to be a key. Um, and then my third step, I use it every other night. Sometimes is my retinol. I love retinol, honey, and you won't see me getting away from it ever. And so that actually is my skincare, and that's like my nighttime routine. The only difference during the daytime is I don't apply retinol during the day, and I use sunscreen, and I reapply the sunscreen typically every 2 hours. And I'm outside all the time. I'm always walking. Even now, as you see, I'm inside of a building, but there's a lot of light coming through the windows.
Mhm.
Well, ultraviolet A, it still can come through the windows. B is blocked, but A can still cause aging. So that's why you want to use a sunscreen routinely and reapply it during the day.
For when the sunscreen necessity sneaks up on you while you're in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's
Leave
true.
those windows open, it just sneaks right up there and gets in your skin.
It does. I know it sounds excessive, but it just is what it is. It's once you know better, you can do better, and I'm telling you, you should be wearing sunscreen.
So maybe you can confirm this for me. I've heard that you should wear sunscreen even on a cloudy day.
Yeah, and that's because I mean, not vitamin, but that's because the ultraviolet A rays can come through the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's true. That is exactly why you want to do it. And if I can, I want to throw in one tip. I'm gonna move so that we don't hear that noise. Um, but one tip is there are so many changes with technology and science these days that we always have new products coming out, and uh, you find out these new products, and before you know it, uh, there may be a recall or something along those lines. So with sunscreen, and I get that it's difficult, but you may want to just stick to mineral-based sunscreen. That's what I use. I'm always on the lookout for another nice mineral-based sunscreen. And the reason why is mineral-based is natural. There's zinc. We have zinc in our bodies. That's one of the minerals we need. There are iron oxides. That's natural. We get iron into our body. That's one thing that makes our red blood cells. We need it. Um, and then there's titanium dioxide. So the reason I'm saying it kind of slowly is because I know that those kind of sunscreens, they typically have a hard time rubbing in. I deal with it all the time, but that's the reason why you want to kind of find one that's going to work for you. But with the chemical sunscreens that blend in very well, very easily, they leave no discoloration at all. The problem is they may be hormone mimickers. And
What's
with
that?
a hormone mimicker is something that might, when you look at the shape molecularly, it might represent a hormone in our body. And so we really don't want to be dealing with something that might uh, negatively affect our endocrine system. So
Oh.
there's really not enough, I guess, research out there that is public about how hormone mimickers can negatively affect our health. But it's just something that I keep in the back of my mind. And when I'm buying sunscreens, um, I just try and go with the mineral-based ones. And I'll tell you this, there are a lot of physicians, and you can find them, and I will contribute as well, but there are a lot of physicians out there that do talk about, I think it actually is, uh, anyway, there are several chemicals in the sunscreens that affect the ocean, like the coral reefs. I don't know if you've ever been to a place like Tulum, but they tell you, hey, there are certain sunscreens you cannot wear because it destroys the coral. anyway, just keep in mind when you're buying sunscreens, just look for the minerals. That would be the easiest way to do things. And you can tell if it has chemicals in it by looking at the words. So minerals are things that we know about. Titanium, we're talking about iron oxides, we're talking about a zinc oxide. Those are things that you clearly can see that's a mineral. When you start looking at octanoxonate or avobenzone or things that look like that, that's a chemical. So you may want to steer clear. That's just my point of view.
Right. Wow. So if people want to find out more about Florida Boy Skincare, where should they go?
You can find me on Instagram at floridaboy_skincare. You can also click the link in that description box and you can get to my website to see the services that we offer. You can see and also schedule the appointments. You can also find me also at Facebook, which will be Florida Boy Skincare. And then we have a description of everything that you can click on. And then also you can always just Google Florida Boy Skincare and you'll see my business page come up.
All right, well, I'll make sure that I link those pages in the description, and I'll make sure that I send people your way when we post this. This is amazing. I hope you keep up doing the good work. So as a thank you for letting me do this interview with you, I'm going to send you a goodie box from my company, Cryptknotic, and I hope you like what's in it.
I appreciate it so much. I look forward to getting that. I am very grateful.
Right. I cannot thank you enough for your time. We want to help promote small businesses, have people learn about what other independent options there are. And there's just a lot of misinformation there about skincare. And when I was talking to you earlier, trying to set up this interview, I had so much trouble with acne when I was a teen. And it really impacts your confidence. And skincare is something that instills confidence in someone. When you look good, you feel good. And I think that's another thing that makes your company so important.
I agree with all of those comments. I feel like as I've gotten better with maintaining my skin, I do feel more confident. You know, it is what it is. I feel like I look good and I know it. And it's not because I'm conceited or anything like that. It's just because I know how to manage my skin and I know that it looks good. And I want to help other people feel that same level of confidence, you know, because at the end of the day, we're all human. You're going to have blemishes. You are going to have outbreaks. The key is knowing how to manage them, how to reduce the time that they, you know, appear on your face. You know, what to do when you do get an ingrown hair, what to do when you are stressed and you're getting these breakouts. You know, what to do when you go out of town and you are eating more candy and the sugar causes you to have a breakout again. You know, you need to know what to do to get it back to normal. And that's my whole goal, is to help people get the information they need to make smart and safe decisions, to make them appear in their own way attractive and to make it, you know, show from the inside out.
That is so great. I am so excited. I hope that you do wonderfully. I'll send as many people your way as I can. This was so eye-opening. So
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this interview. I hope you tune in to some of our other Small Business Sunday interviews and see what we've got going on.
I will, absolutely.
All right, so it has been great, and we'll see you guys next time for Small Business Sunday. Bye.